Are you an indigenous storyteller who likes to delve into the dark? Consider submitting a story to the open call for Never Whistle at Night, an anthology of indigenous dark fiction from Penguin Random House, edited by Shane Hawk and Ted Van Alst. If they accept your story, you'll be published alongside writers such as Owl Goingback, Rebecca Rowanhorse, Shiri Demeline, Tom Orange, and others. Find all submission details at shanehawk.com/submit or neverwhistleatnight.com.
Hello everybody, E here. Welcome back to 31 Days of Halloween. Today we are talking about another Netflix series, and that is Squid Game. Before I start this, I will not be using the names just so I don't offend anybody by screwing up the pronunciation. If I need to reference a certain character, I will reference them by their numbers. In the show, each character that plays the game gets their own number on their shirt, their pants, everything. That is also important to the story, I feel. So I will be doing a spoiler section, but it will be later in the video, and I will let you guys know with a countdown 3, 2, 1 like I normally do. So this show is super hyped, and for the most part, I agree with everyone. It is a fantastic show. It is like Battle Royale and The Running Man and Hunger Games in so much that it is about a competition that is life or death. I will say that it is wholly original in my opinion. Because of the games and the way that the characters are sometimes pitted against each other and sometimes not. Each of the games are very simple, and this show is absolutely brutal. That's one of the things that I liked about it the most, was the sheer carnage that happens from the very first episode. I found the characters to be the strongest point here. You root for them, you hate some of them, you root for some of them, you're on the fence about some of them, and they all get perfect story arcs for their character. Especially, I would say the villain of the within the group of players. I think the villains in the group of players have there's two of them that have the perfect ending for them. Anywho, so there's three things that I look for in every single story: characters, pacing, and dread. With the characters, like I already said, they're absolutely fantastic. This show will destroy you. If you have any empathy in your bones, bodies, heart, soul, whatever you want to call it, this show is going to destroy you. It is very, very emotionally deep, and there's just so much to love about each one of these characters, and if you don't love them, you love to hate them. Next is the pacing. This is a huge strong point with the series. I was constantly just I just wanted to binge the whole show at one time, but me and Shell only really have 2 hours a night, and we were watching it together. So, but there was one time we had to watch 3 episodes because of the way episode 4 ends. If this was normal television, normal cable, normal TV, whatever, I would have been pissed if I had to wait another week for episode 5. I would have been so mad. Hopefully that isn't a spoiler, but I don't think it is. When you get there, you'll see what I'm talking about, unless you've already seen it. Probably my favorite episode, and the most horrifying episode, I feel, is episode 6. I could barely watch. It was so, and I hope I get the episode right. It doesn't matter if I get it wrong, then don't even have to worry about spoilers. But it was the worst feeling in the world watching that episode. And if you like movies and books that just wreck you emotionally, this is the show for you. Another highlight, I will say, is episode 8, I believe it is, second one from the last. I loved every single episode. It just kept getting better and better and better, and it seemed like they always threw in some kind of way to make each episode special. Not so much as like every single ending, but there was always something in there that kept me glued to it. Now for the dread. the dread is off the charts. From episode 1, as soon as they start playing the game, you know something bad is going to happen. I mean, why else are they there? And unfortunately, I did see the trailer, which is what made me want to watch the show. But I say unfortunately because I pretty much knew, what was going on in the first episode. I stayed away from all spoilers after that, and I'm so glad that I did. Now I'm going to talk about 2 of my criticisms, but unfortunately, they are spoilers. So if you want to watch the show for yourself, I highly, highly suggest that you click away, because while these things were obvious to me, they may not be obvious to you. But I am going to be talking about the 2 twists of the story, and I'm going to be talking about the ending. So if you do not want to know anything else, please click away. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Okay, first thing. As soon as we meet the detective, and as soon as he gets to the island, I knew exactly who the front man was. It was the only logical thing for me. I knew it was going to be his brother. There was no mystery there for me whatsoever. So that was one thing with one of the twists. All the twists I thought were kind of predictable, but luckily the show doesn't really rely on the twists. The second thing, in the very first episode, I told Shell, when I saw number 1, I was like, he's the creator of the game. There were so many clues in that first episode. He's the oldest one there. He is number 1. There's just so many things that were hyper obvious to me, that it's not that it lowered my enjoyment level, because I was still excited to see if I was right. But all the clues were there. But I think it was far too heavy-handed. Even changing the number to someone else's number might have helped, but again, he was the oldest contestant. It just didn't make any sense, and he had a brain tumor. He really had nothing to gain from winning. There were so many clues there, I think it was rather overdone. The same with the front man being the brother of the cop. That just... Anyways, but you can decide for yourself. If you're going to talk about this section of the movie, please put spoilers at the beginning of your comment, and then enter down probably about 5 or 6 lines, so people have to click read more if they want to read your comment. Okay, now the next thing, and this might be a controversial thing because everybody seems to love the entire episode, but I absolutely hated the final episode. In fact, I'm going to give the entire show as a whole 4 stars simply because of the final episode. I'm going to reference Midnight Mass and The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor here, but those were very condensed stories, and they were what they were, and they just need to be left alone. And so far, I think they are leaving it alone, even though Midnight Mass is semi-open-ended. With this one, it is so heavy. It's so clear they're going to do another season, and I don't think that it's going to be anywhere near as good as the first one, because the first one was so much about the discovery of these characters. Now, can they bring in a whole new set of characters? Yes, but now that only one of them is going to survive, and it's going to come down to that one. In this one, I had my inklings that it was only going to be one, of course, because they say at the beginning, you will be receiving, not, all the winners will be receiving. They say you will be receiving the money. But I just think that will take some of the tension out of it, especially if they focus on one main character like they did for this one. And I'm talking, of course, about 456. But those are my criticisms. I'm giving the whole thing 4 stars. Unfortunately, the very last episode, episode 9, I didn't care for at all. I do like the fight between 219 and 456. I did enjoy that, but the rest of the episode it just didn't do it for me. And then when I found out I was right about number 1, it's just one, especially when he's going, the 456 is going to see his daughter, and if that had been me, I would go spend time with my child. That's it. I that's probably selfish, but you can't save the world, and I feel like that's what his intentions were to save the world or get back into the game or whatever it may be, and that means that the next show will be him again, and I think that the next season might not. I don't know. Who knows? I'm gonna watch it anyways, but I would have loved to have had a final closing, that this is all there is, especially since Netflix has a issue with canceling shows no matter how popular they are. But have you watched Squid Game on Netflix? If you have, let me know if you loved it, hated it, felt meh about it, especially if you hated it. I can't see anybody hating this show. Maybe some people feeling meh because they've seen, they think they've seen all this before with all the other, fight to the death shows. But especially if you hated this one, if you have strong hate for this, I would love to hear from you down there in the doobly-doo. But explain why you hated it. Don't just say, oh my god, it sucks. Tell me why, so that we can have a discussion. But until next time, I have been E, you have been you. This has been another episode of 31 Days of Halloween. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye!